Scrooge. Yep, another thing to listen from Scrooge is on used cars. Now, personally, for me, being a poor church mouse and very, very cheap, every vehicle I've ever had has been a used vehicle. The first one I got was from Mom, who sold me to her car, and I paid the same price she bought another used car for. Very simple, okay? When that died, let's say all died for me, they last couple, 2 or 3 years, and they died, was a used wagon from, was it my brother? When he worked for a car dealership. Have we got a deal for you? Oh. And when that failed, have I got a deal for you, little old lady? You know, little grandmother. Yeah. How did you get it? She died. Oh. And her children didn't want it, so they traded in for something better. Well, we didn't whip up. We got a price for you. And I said, really? How many miles on it? Really? And now you're not doing it just because we're related to that. Oh, no. Really. And the one after that was that Vega. And of course, being a Vega is made in Canada, not just nothing against the Canadian Chevys, but the stamp, how they make them for the bodies, they're stamp layers. And all it takes is a small dent in that body, and if it's not filled in or sprayed down with sealant and everything else, it will suck up water, and it will simply migrate to the whole car and turn it to rust. And that's what happened to my little red 2-seater, 4-cylinder Vega. I put a lot of mileage in it because I was going to school and I had to put a lot of mileage in it. My father says, you should ask Mother for something better. I did. I got something better. A Vega. Another one. Hatchback. Etc., etc. A lot of Chevys. How they work. I just random. Well, you know, if you store it in the garage, well, I could store it in my garage, dear old daddy, but hey, what's those filing cabinets contain again? Oh, we gotta keep them. We gotta keep them. You never know. You know. But half the people that in those things have already died. Okay? But those newsletters we give out every month. Right. They're being enjoyed by the silverfish. But, okay. On and on and on and on. Okay. And one of the guys said, have I got a car for you? I said, yeah. That's the one that the transmission went out a year later. Okay. And he said, sorry about that. How about something like this? I said, how about a car? So I got something a little bit better. A van. He opened it up. Gee, there are no back seats. Yeah, well, you know, it's kind of hard to get rid of this thing with no back seat. How'd I take it? That lasted 4 years. And then I was at Willow Creek by that time, and I get a flat, and so I got my jack it up, and the jack goes through the frame. Doesn't go up. So I take the chance, pump air into the tire, and I go back to Willow Creek because they have the Cars Ministry, Willow Creek Cars Ministry there, and they have a bay of half a dozen slots in that thing. And I get back, there's nobody there. So I tell them I'm crashing over by the cars, and next morning somebody comes and say, hey, I got this problem with the air thing. So he pumps it up and brings up the tire and puts on the spare and says, what are you going to do? Oh, what do you have? And he says, have I got a deal for you? The cars, because the mechanic says, have I got a deal for you? That one. Okay. A member of the church donated that one. And it looks in pretty good condition. And I says, I'll be back Monday. I did. I went back Monday, and the guy said, well, actually, Lindsay said, well, actually, Charlie drove it around, looked at it, says it's in top condition. You know who donated? Yeah, he told me who donated. He could say it's a top condition, and driving back and forth to church. That's what he did. He drove around town. He didn't go anywhere with it. It's 20 years old. So what? How many miles? 77,000 miles on the car. Charlie said it's great. Lindsay said it's great. I say, I'll take it. And I got it. And I bought it from the church. Wow. Now let's put it this way. They gave me a deal. No, they didn't give me a deal. They said, we will sell this online. We start off at this price. Okay. For you get to buy it from us once. Since you're a member of the church, you get to buy it from us once. And you get this thing. You cannot buy another car from us. You can buy this. And they offered me 2 cars, one with 205,000 miles on the engine, a Ford, and 77,000 miles. I said, well, you know where this came from? And I said, well, what's wrong with it? He says, there's nothing wrong with it. It's like, it was like mint condition, a little rust here and there. But he said, basically it's in mint condition. And, this is the price we're asking for it. We're going to ask on the line to start off. And they showed it to me. And it ran perfectly. Why, it's a Chevy, of course. It's run perfect. It's a Chevy! It says, I told him that I could put 100,000 miles on this thing. 100,000 miles from now, it's going to run perfect. And he's right. 20 years old, 100,000 more miles on it, and I could, make it a 30-year-old car. No rust. Yeah, it's like that. Everything runs okay on it. And do I have it now? Well, I got another Chevy. Used cars. Willow Creek gets in used cars. Okay. People donate, like I donated my old van to them, and the one I got, somebody donated from the church into the place. I mean, I don't think it's basically was same condition it was 20 years ago, and that's what people donate. And of course, like my vehicle is the rust bucket. But I donated. I got like a trade-in, because Willow Creek is a car dealership, and they get rust buckets in. They get cars they fix up for basically women who need cars, mothers, divorced mothers, things like that. And they deal not only with Willow Creek's church ministry, but they deal with other ministries too. And now, they're not going to put a lot of money into something, but they will make it street worthy, keep it up to code. Okay. there's a lot of stuff they don't do on the car. They tell people, this is being given to you, but this is the thing that can be wrong with it. But if you bring it here, we're going to charge you for the parts. Okay, you're going to get free labor, but you're going to charge for the parts. But there's a lot of buts in here. We will advise you to do, because we have access to a lot of mechanics outside of this place that we don't work on. There's a lot of things that we do not work on a car. Okay, this car has these conditions, it's used, we can tell you that thing. And like they told me when I got it, it says, things are going to fail in it. You need to do is have your radiator flushed out. Okay, which, yeah. And this stuff and that stuff. You're going to get oil change at what the current price of oil changing is. And that. We don't do that. Okay, we're not set up to do certain things. But you may do that. And I said, sure, don't bother me. So I have a mechanic anyway, so I go there and a mechanic, and he does the stuff. But let me tell you something about used cars that you have. Now, my current car I have, I donated, well, my 20-year-old car, I ran over a plastic bag, and it just tore out it's not non-repairable, so Willow Creek said, it's trash, get yourself a new one. So I got a used car. But when I got my used car, the Chevy place said is that they looked at what the stock here, they said, well, you see those cars there? We're selling them to a wholesaler who's going to auction them off. If you want one of those cars, it's going to get auctioned off, and you can buy it from the little car place down the street, very likely. They're not Chevy standard. There's problems with them, but they're not. We can't sell them under Chevys as a Chevy because they're not worth. Okay, that's what a wholesaler does. He sells them to Joe, the little salesman down there. He may work on it a little bit, but that's the kind of car you're going to get. Now, us, and they looked around other dealerships, Chevy dealers, and a couple of Ford dealerships too. And you're 3,000 is the rust, 4,000 is getting better, 5,000 is running this thing. I said, we got something in. We haven't put it online yet. Look at it. 200,000 miles on it. Some dents here, some dents there. Yeah, the engine light went on. I said, well, what's the engine light? He said, most likely oxygen or computer thing. It's not worth us. Well, we can fix it, but then we're going to boost it up in price. We're going to sell you for this much. And I said, okay. Drove it around. The guy said, yeah. As he said, if you got any problems, give me a call. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, then I said, yep, the engine light went on. Well, find out what it is. Yeah. Okay. That might be a thing. I'm only going to worry about that thing, that used car. But as he, said, everybody else, let me tell you where they get that. They go down the auction place. They buy the stuff that we rejected, or Ford rejects, or Toyota rejects. And the little used car thing, that's what they sell you. Willow Creek, as Willow Creek does, when they reject a car, it's trashed. If they can't fix it up, wholesaler gets it. Sometimes the wholesaler or the little, I've seen the little salespeople, they can't get rid of their cars, so they donate it to Willow Creek. Willow Creek looks at the stuff and says it's trash. Here's your donations on it, and what do? It's trash. Do they sell it as trash? I have never seen any stuff they sell. They've sold a few good cars on used cars. And that thing, but they say it's as used. We can tell you what's wrong with it, and if you want to buy it from us, no. If you want to buy that from us, we're going to tell you we don't recommend this, but this is very likely we found what's wrong with it. The windows don't roll up, okay? We don't repair that, Willow Creek would say. Or this we don't repair, that thing we don't repair. We don't do that. We're not set up to do that. That's a mechanic. That's a regular mechanic. We're not in competition with regular mechanics. We're not in competition with those gas stations. We do this, and this to a car, but we don't do all these other things to a car. And the cars that they donate to women organizations or to other churches for their members is as is. They're used as is. But if there's problems like the windows and that, they can look at it. But they tell you right now, if we repair this, you have to pay for the parts. If the parts cost $150, our laborer's fee, but you're paying for those parts, then go somewhere else. They used to do this. Willow Creek used to do it in the very beginning. Used to do it. Oh yeah, we pay for the parts, and people were coming in there. Instead of going to a mechanic, they would go in there and get their cars fixed. And they've had a few times that those cars, after Willow Creek get done fixing them, these people sell them. Yes. And they have had a few of their vehicles. They give them out, fix them up, right. And the people they give them to, now they learn their lessons, sell them. Yeah. So now they really check in the person's finances when you go out there, and before they give a car to someone, they really find out if the person is there, because they look at addresses. Definitely addresses. If you live in South Barrington, folks, you're not going to get a free car. Period. If you're living in Itasca, you're not going to go get a free car, because they know the tax base these places. They know your address, so they can Google it up. You're not going to get a free something or other, because Willow Creek has been screwed over that by so many other people who have conned them. They had even gotten cars back within days of giving them away. They've been told, they impounded by the police, and the police checked back. Where's this up? It's from Willow Creek. People have gotten these free cars, and I guess they can't kind of load them, so they just drop them off the street. And the Chicago police come along, and they impound them, or the local people come over and they impound the stuff, and they check the registration on there and say, hey, this just was taken up, given out to Willow Creek. And yeah. But, up to a point, Jesus is with you. After that, people. What about used cars? I like what I got. My used car from my Chevy guy, as I said, it's 200,000 miles. And I told him, it's a Chevy. It's going to last another 100,000 miles. If it lets the wheels fall out, it's going to last another 1,000. The guy says, yeah, it's a Chevy. And we back what we have. Even though it's used, we back what we sell. Okay, that's it for Scrooge.